do a really good job at selling your organisation to a recruit coming into your business. You promise them career progression, advice, support, guidance, training, and all the time they need to be amazing. Seldom, however, is that promise actually delivered. And why is that? Because we're busy people. I don't know many organisations, if any these days, who recruit a surplus number of people just in case someone leaves. We can then fill that gap quite easily. Often what happens is we find a gap, we understand someone's leaving or has already left. We then go through the recruitment process to find the right candidate to come and join that department, that branch, that team or whatever. And that void leaves increased workload, increased pressure, and people getting a bit stressed out by doing too much work covering that person's job role. So they come on board, they get rushed through a quick induction process and say, there's your desk, or there's your branch, or there's the equipment you need, go make it happen. We've seen so many letters of resignation over our years doing this kind of work, and primarily it's simply the same thing. You didn't deliver what you promised me at the interview, and most of it relates to time. You didn't give me the time, you didn't give me the training, you didn't give me the information I needed to be the best that I could be. So here's a few very simple tips. The biggest thing these days is called onboarding. Make sure you have a plan for your onboarding process. Make sure you have a very rigorous, clear induction process that tells them about your organisation. What are we about? What are our goals? What are our aspirations? How do we measure our success? Secondly, what is the function and purpose of an induction? We've asked that question of thousands of people over the decades doing this kind of work, and they all come back with the lovely things like welcoming people, make sure they feel part of the organisation, we know their name, they know our name, it's all about values, and yeah, these are all very good. But the function and purpose of an effective induction is very, very simply this: to get your people to earn their salary as quickly and as effectively as possible. Don't try and cram everything into a day, 2 days, a week, or even 2 weeks. If the person coming on board is not going to use your finance department for at least 6-7 months, don't give them a finance induction on day 2. Also think about an orientation process. But orientation means who's who? Where do I go for this? One quick simple tip: let them do a kind of treasure hunt or a quiz. So, for example, find out the person who's worked here for the longest, go and introduce yourself to that person and find out their length of service. If you find someone who's just great for your organisation, they culturally fit, they'll be a great match for you now and in the foreseeable future. Maybe you just give them a chance to go around different areas, different departments, different branches, different countries if you're that big, and say, where do you feel you fit in? Where do we feel you fit in? Because then you've got simple skill development as opposed to cultural development, which makes your onboarding process so simple. Now, does that sound like it's very time consuming to you? It might be more time consuming than what you're currently doing, but then again, why are we doing this? What's the purpose of doing this? To get them to earn their salary quickly and effectively, and make sure they add and contribute to your organisation, and they stay for a long enough time where you get return on investment for your recruitment. What if you don't invest some of this time? They get rushed in, they get a few bits of information, and we all know, don't we, a little bit of knowledge can be very dangerous.